am not a role model. I'm not paid to be a role model. I am paid to wreak havoc on the basketball court. Parents should be role models. Just because I dunk a basketball doesn't mean I should raise your kids.
So, Ninja was trending on Twitter last night, and I dared to click on it to see what people were screaming at him about. What did he do this time? And in fact, it seems that people's current issue with the mega popular streamer isn't what he did. It's in fact what he's not doing, more so refuses to do. The anger was stemming from this GameSpot article titled, "Ninja Says Parents Should Parent Their Kids," citing that it's not his job to teach kids about racism and white privilege. This is actually in reference to a New York Times article. I guess they did a piece on him where he said, in reference to teaching kids about racism and his role in it, but it all comes down to parenting. You want to know who your kid is? Listen to him when he's playing video games when he thinks you're not. Here's another thing. How does a white kid know he has white privilege if his parents never teach him or don't talk about racism? Basically, the theme was, it's not his job as a video game streamer to teach his audience about racism. He believes parenting children should be the job of the parents, and this got a lot of people very big mad. Some names I noticed talking about this on Twitter included the likes of Darkside Phil, DSP, a fellow streamer who is most famous for jerking off on stream. He said, "True, but Ninja, you chose to be a children's entertainer with an audience of millions. Many of those kids look up to you as a role model. Whether you like it or not, with great power and money comes great responsibility." Ooh, very original. So stop shrugging it off and grow up just a bit. Yeah, that's pretty hilarious coming from someone like Darkside Phil.
In China, they say, "Chiggy Chang Wang Charlie Chan Chika Chaka Choka Cha." In China, they say, "Cat very delicious." I
swear to God, you Jews, you Mexicans, you Asians are so demanding. You drive me nuts.
Jenny Nicholson, a big YouTuber who often covers Disney IP, her most recent video was actually about the very big grown-up mature show, The Vampire Diaries. She said, "If you make content for babies and find out you're Sesame Street huge, it's not your job to do anything, but it's your opportunity. So why does he prefer to do nothing every time?" Again, clearly the Sesame Street jab is pointing at his audience being all little baby children. I'm sorry that you don't have this sort of reach, Jenny. Unfortunately, you're stuck with your audience of horse girls and cat moms. Another streamer named Nina Freeman said reading about this made her blood boil. You get the picture. People were outraged. So yeah, I've noticed a couple themes with this, none of which I agree with. Right off the bat, I want to say, I always hear this line. I don't, again, know too much about a lot of big streamers, big YouTubers, but with personalities like Ninja and PewDiePie, I hear this all the time, that they have such young, impressionable audiences. Just that right there, isn't that more of a meme? I mean, both these guys at least got their start in video games. I think PewDiePie doesn't do as much gaming content now, but it's certainly the thing that made him popular. And video games are always going to skew younger, but they've also both been around for quite a long time. I think I first heard about Ninja when he was a pro Halo 3 player, and that was many years ago. Sure, certainly, again, he wasn't as popular then, but even so, it's like, I've been hearing this idea that their audiences are all little kids, little babies, according to Jenny Nicholson, for years now. Even Fortnite, which is like the thing that really blew up Ninja, that game's been around for what, like 4 to 5 years? I don't know how many babies are playing Fortnite. Again, I'm sure Jenny Nicholson is an expert on child rearing, but I mean, our kids, when they start watching PewDiePie, they're probably already, what, like 7 or 8? That's what I would probably consider to be the low end. But for the sake of argument, we'll give this to them. I'm sure Ninja does in fact have legions of very young impressionable fans, so we'll remain focused on them. It's still not his job to teach them all these important life lessons. I do agree that is in fact the job of the parents, schools, etc. Ninja is not raising his millions of viewers. He's not their dad. He's not responsible for them, who they become. If Ninja wants to go out and present himself as a role model and try to teach kids all these things, that's fine, but it's not a requirement. As a Fortnite streamer, his only requirement is entertaining his audience and racking up those victory royales, which he apparently does a pretty good job at. And I mean, as a parent, similar to like the violent video games debate, if you feel Ninja's content isn't appropriate for some reason, you just don't let your kids watch them. If you feel, as a parent, that you are incapable of properly teaching your kids about racism, let's say, and you need a video game streamer to teach them those life lessons, I'm sure you could find one that's doing that. You're the parent. Make your kids, if they want to watch Fortnite streams, watch somebody else who is teaching the lessons you want them to. I mean, if we're in the position as a society where we feel parents are incapable of properly teaching their kids about racism, teachers aren't competent enough to tackle the subject, and it all falls on the Fortnite streamer with stupid colored hair to teach these lessons to our children, then I think we've got bigger problems out here. And it's like, I could see if Ninja was out here actively being a bad person, at least someone your kid shouldn't look up to, you know, if he was saying racist things, telling kids to be racist, if he was getting in predicaments that were similar to, say, what's been going on in the Smash Brothers community, then I'd be right there with you, like, this is a problem. But he's not. Now, I saw part of the argument with this, a lot of people saying that he's specifically an influencer. And again, with young kids under the influence of him, for lack of a better phrase, he has this responsibility. Which, yeah, again, it's just total crap. He's, once more, a video game streamer. He's an influencer for video games, his Ninja brand, and that. Just like a girl who does makeup tutorials is an influencer for the makeup world. This doesn't make him or them race theory influencers, political influencers, certainly doesn't make them experts on those subjects. His expertise and what he's influencing people about is video games. I mean, I put myself personally in the same category. While I'd never call myself an influencer, at least not unironically, I realize that I influence people's decisions about video games. I play a lot of video games, follow the industry pretty closely. I understand that people may make a purchase going off of what I have to say, and I take that very seriously. That's my wheelhouse. That's what I'm here to talk about. As a viewer, you can go to a multitude of other places. You can have your kids go to a multitude of other places to be lectured about these other subjects. Even in the video game world, there's no lack of self-proclaimed experts on these subjects. I just prefer to stick to what I know and what I enjoy discussing. I personally don't believe I even need, some excuse to not talk about these, let's call them bigger issues, which I'd note, there's literally always something bigger going on in the world, something more important to talk about than video games. 100% of the time, 24 hours a day, every single day. So if we're supposed to stop and focus on other things because they're more important than video games, we'd simply never discuss video games because there's always something more important going on. So yeah, I choose not to, and if you don't like it, again, plenty of other places you can go. Now, I would slip in here that doesn't mean I would never talk about these things, that I think Ninja would never talk about these things. I have in the past, when they relate to video games, talked political discussion, even human rights stuff, like with the Free Hong Kong situation with Blizzard banning people for saying Free Hong Kong, like on streams and stuff. Had a lot to say about that. But again, it's related to the gaming space. And while I don't talk about these types of issues regularly, I reserve the right to do so when they relate to video games. That's what I talk about here. That's what my channel's about. Similarly, if, say, the Fortnite developers said, I don't know, they're firing all their black employees. I know that's a bit extreme, but yeah, if something blatantly racist like that happened in his realm, I'd expect Ninja to say something about it. At least come out and say he has a problem with it. But beyond that, I don't think teaching the kids of the world about these subjects is his job. The other aspect of this I do want to just point out quickly is I saw some of this discussion revolving specifically not around him, but his chat, that his chat is toxic, I guess. Now, I don't watch Ninja or anything, so I don't have much to say here beyond, yeah, you should take measures to monitor your chat in streams, like with mods and stuff, to the level at least you want, but I know how out of hand things can get even with a few hundred people live chatting on my streams. So when you're someone like Ninja, you got, I don't know, 100,000 people watching live, and chat is moving at the speed of light, there's not much you're going to be able to do beyond just disabling live chat, especially these days where people get banned and suspended sometimes for things other people say in their comments or chat. I don't think any content creator, no matter what their views, wants things getting out of hand in their chat. So again, with that, I do believe you should be making an effort to police live chat, I guess, but once you get to a certain size, it's going to be virtually impossible unless, again, you just disable live chat. And that pretty much covers what I saw in terms of people's problems with Ninja, to which, before I close, I'd like to turn this around a bit on the people who are so outraged by his refusal to educate children on various issues of the world. Do you not see an issue with compelling speech like this? Like, I discuss all the time how I think we have a big problem with censorship in the industry, effectively trying to be able to tell people what they can say or more so produce in the video game space. And this falls into a similar camp to me. While you're not censoring Ninja, you're saying, if Ninja doesn't say X thing, well, he's clearly a bad person. He's not doing his part. Now, it might be something in terms of racism most people agree with anyway. I don't think racism is bad, as controversial. But when you're going to whip up the mob to go after people for not saying something, where does that stop? I mean, if I know one thing about the perpetually outraged, again, when it comes to censorship and that, it's that once they get you to cave to their demands, it's open season. This does not go away. Maybe for a moment it does, but they'll be on your ass nonstop, weekly, maybe daily, for the next calls to prove you're not a racist bigot or whatever. So yeah, to the people claiming that Ninja should be addressing these subjects, whether he likes it or not, how often should he do it? Weekly? Monthly? What happens if he misses a week? It's canceled still? What are all the subjects he should be addressing? Because we know it's, again, not going to stop with just racism. I mean, sexism, homophobia, algebra, science, what? I mean, it's just so ridiculous. Which is why I would tell anyone it's best not to ever cave to these nut jobs. Again, especially in a situation like this where they're not even saying you're actively doing anything wrong. They've decided you're not doing enough. Good for the world, I guess. Once more, if that's the case, who decides then what's enough? When it's enough? Does this not end until literally everyone on the internet approves? Is satisfied? I mean, good luck with that. Yeah, I'm glad Ninja stood up for himself here. These losers on Twitter are just going to move on to the next thing to scream about so they can farm likes off the outrage. Here's what I'd say to these people. You want all these Fortnite babies to be lectured about racism by Fortnite streamers? Then rack up some of your own victory royales, along with a following of millions, and then you can preach it to them all day. Just because this audience doesn't want to listen to you doesn't make it someone else's job. Anyway, with that, this video's a wrap. Let me know your thoughts on this Ninja situation in the comments. Do you believe it's the video game streamer's responsibility to teach our youth about the various problems in the world? Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed this discussion of the latest outrage against big mega famous streamer Ninja. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing, and if you want to keep the conversation going, hit me up on Twitter @JohnnyZakari, and join my Discord, ChiGuy and Friends, link to both in the description below. And as always, thanks for watching.